My name's Katella DeBolt, and I am a psychology instructor here at the Falls. And I was asked today to come teach about test taking. I do teach test taking workshops for first year introduction, which is something that runs throughout the fall quarters. I'm also a facilitator for the General Studies 114 class. And General Studies 114 is Thriving in College, and it's a 2-credit class that you can take and right on your typical schedule. And what we're going to be working on today, or working with today, is coming from that curriculum. So that's where this information has come from, is that class that you can take. So I can't take credit for making this up. This was Josh Westerman that created this. I cut and pasted it to suit our needs for today. So I wanted to kind of start us off with something that is probably the reason why people get upset about taking tests. So this is a definition of the word stress. So stress is the ongoing process. The good news is when you're dead, you don't have to worry about stress anymore, okay? But if you can get it in your head that stress is a part of life, that stress is what makes me strong, stress is what pushes me to do better than I've ever done before, then you might get a good idea of how stress could be helpful. So stress is the ongoing process, it never ends, of appraising, meaning I'm making an appraisal. When the word test comes out, what do you think in your head? Give me test. SAT. What else comes out? What's in your head when I say test? Math, right? Pressure. So right away when I say the word test, would you agree with me that you have a lot of ideas about what a test is? Great. So today we're going to change some of those ideas if they're not working for you and really strengthen the ones that are working for you. So here we go. Stress is the ongoing process of figuring out what it means to me, this thing, and then responding to it. Now, whenever I appraise something, I come into two areas, a threat and a challenge. A threat means I've appraised the test and I feel that I'll fail. I feel that I'm not ready. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm out of control. I'm in deep trouble. Now that, my dears, is how the threat begins. That's a threat. It's going to hurt you. Most of us in this room, whether we raise our hands or not, will see a test this way. It's a threat. It's coming at me. It's going to hurt me, okay? So what we need to do is somehow change your appraisal, somehow change the way you think about a test by changing the way you respond to it and hopefully making it a challenge. This is a challenge. I have to work hard, but I can do this. There are specific behaviors that I know I have to do to be successful, so I need to do those. I can do this. I can learn to take a test. I can take a test, and not only can I take it, but I can take it well. Now we're getting the appraisal piece. Now we're getting our mind to start thinking that this could be something I'm good at. So harness your stress, harness that anxiety. So we're going to kind of move into your packets here. So just bring this over to you so you can see what it is that we're all looking at. So anxiety. A lot of people say, I have test anxiety. And I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I do diagnose anxiety and I treat for anxiety. And I got to tell you, most people that say they have test anxiety don't have test anxiety. Anxiety means you're out of control. It means that you're threatened and you don't think you can do it. Most of us don't really have that level of anxiety with tests. It wouldn't be diagnosable. It's still a problem though, isn't it? Even if I couldn't diagnose you with test anxiety disorder, wouldn't that be easy if someone could just say, well, she has a disorder, therefore. Yeah. So, test anxiety occurs when the thought of taking an exam impedes the test taker's ability to perform. The thought, just the thought, can take you from a place of confidence to a place of worry. And that's that appraisal piece. How do I appraise this test? When I appraise this test, do I see it as a threat? Because if I do, I know I'm getting test anxiety. If I see it as a challenge, I'll still get a little bit of anxiety, but it'll be confident anxiety. Here's the secret about your body that some of you probably knew. Your body reacts to the world, right? It reacts to the world. So here's the news about your body. Your body is going to react to a test in the same way. Whether you see it as a threat or a challenge, you're getting energy, you're getting alertness, you're getting focus. Your body will give it to you, whether or not you think it's a challenge or a threat. But with a threat, you use that against you. With a challenge, you use it for you. And that's kind of the difference here. When a person becomes overly concerned with worrying about taking the exam, worry about difficulty learning and remembering, then instead of focusing on the subject matter, they're focusing on their anxiety. They're not in the right place. So what could even be worse is that the information that was there before the exam vanishes when confronted with the test. How many of you have done this? You know, there's a hand. There's an honest hand, thank you. You get the test, you're totally ready, and now you can't even remember your name. You can't remember where you at, and you know you knew this. So it can't be that your memory has forsaken you. It's that your anxiety is getting in the way. So how do you control your anxiety? I hope that's the next question you're asking. So careful planning and strategies employed while studying and taking the exam will help to reduce or eliminate the stress and anxiety. So here's the thing. You're the one who started your anxiety. You're the one responsible for ending your anxiety. You can't have someone else come in and make you feel better. You got to do this for yourself. So the quickest way is to feel like you're not prepared. If you're not prepared, you're not going to do all that well on the test. Is that a fair statement to make? I don't have to push you too hard to agree with that. So start the test preparation process with a plan that will lead from the beginning of the study process to the actual test day, and stick to your plan. If you know you have a test on Friday, when's the first day you should probably be studying? The day you find out about the test. That's the right answer. The day you find out about the test. If you have a test on Friday and you worry about it all week and the worrying makes you not study and you only study on Friday morning, what could you be saying to do? What would we call it when you give one time to study and one time only? Procrastinating leads to cramming. Let me tell you about your memory, okay? And we'll talk more about memory in a second. But your memory has two types, right? Short-term memory, long-term memory. Short-term, I only need it for a little while. When you cram, your brain says, oh, this is short-term information. This isn't important enough for me to study more than one time. Memory, which is a very helpful thing for studying for a test, making memories, memory works better if you distribute your study time. So if I have a test on Friday, I don't just study Thursday, because that's only one shot for my brain. I want to study Monday. I want to study Tuesday. I want to take Wednesday off because I'm done. And then go back and study on Thursday. So you got to take breaks too. You can't just be a machine here. So be confident. Confidence is the mental game. Confident. Even if I don't know the information, I'm confident that I know enough about multiple choice to reason my way through it and maybe get the right answer. Also, I love this one. Don't let the emotional response to the word test trick the brain into thinking that the test is something that can't be dealt with. What are some other words we could think of instead of test? Can you think of something else that has nothing to do with exam or test? Can you think of it? Practice of knowledge? There's no wrong answer here. Practice of knowledge. Yeah, Sherry? Celebration of knowledge. That sounds like Denise, or not Denise, Darlene. Oh, was it? Yeah. Darlene? I love Darlene. Okay, we were roommates on a retreat, and I fell in love with her. She's a great lady. So let's think of some other words for test. Celebration of achievement, right? celebration of knowledge, the chance for you to prove that you know something. There's two types of tests in this world. There's aptitude tests, what could you be? The SAT is an example of that. And then there's achievement tests. Did you learn what I asked you to learn? That's all a test is. Did I learn what was asked of me to learn? That's all it is. And once you really see a test for what it is, my chance to show you what I know, my chance to show my achievement, my chance to show you that your life is not in vain, teacher. I do listen and I do take it seriously. It's not a test. It's just an opportunity. So we can kind of change the way we even think about the word. Here's the good news. A small amount, and that B shouldn't be there. That's kind of funky. A small amount of anxiety will actually help keep the mind focused and striving towards achieving the predetermined goal. This is why we have what we call a sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system gives you energy. You probably have heard the sympathetic nervous system in different terms, fight or flight. You probably heard those terms, right? Fight or flight. Well, anxiety can turn on the sympathetic nervous system and give you tons of energy. And energy is what your brain needs to take a test. So here we go. This is where we pick up here. So this is where your handout's going to kind of follow where I'm going now. Sleep, the big three, that'd be four. The big three, right? The big three that you need for health and wellness, and definitely getting a good grade on a test would be under health and wellness. So big three. Number one, sleep. Adequate amounts of sleep. Memories are consolidated during sleep. Memories are organized and retained during sleep. Not enough sleep, what can you guess about your memory? Take a wild guess, ladies. It's going down, thumbs down. It's not going to retain. If you're not sleeping, you're not remembering. So there's definitely something there. So don't go out and party the night before. Save that for your night off, right? That's the beauty of studying, because then you can really deserve a night off, right? Make sure to have planned out a schedule to eliminate late night study sessions, especially the night before the test. The brain must be refreshed in order for maximum performance. Don't come hungry. I'm going to give you something that, there we go. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitters are made in your neurons, and neurons are found in your brain, and they're just one cell. So it's a specialized brain cell. Neurons use neurotransmitters to create emotions, to create behaviors, and to create thinking. This acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. And this neurotransmitter is made from foods that contain choline, which include fish, peanuts, eggs, wheat germ, soybeans, and legumes. And almonds are in here too, because they're kind of legumey, if you will. So if you get a handful of I was about to say eggs. That doesn't sound good though, does it? A handful of peanuts. That sounds better. A handful of peanuts for a snack the day before, and a really nice big meal of fish. Maybe you get some soybeans, some edamame. But the idea is you want to make sure that a couple days before the test, you start eating foods like this. Because what does acetylcholine do, you might ask? Acetylcholine makes memories. It gives you the ability to concentrate. It keeps your liver alive. And it lets your muscles move. Without enough acetylcholine, your body won't work properly. Now let's just spend just a moment on this. What do you think your body thinks is more important? Memory or keeping the liver functioning? Liver, right? Liver. So if acetylcholine has several jobs and you don't have enough acetylcholine, you can almost bet that your body's going to use acetylcholine for the liver and your muscles before it lets you use it for memory and concentration. So you can't just have some acetylcholine, you've got to have enough acetylcholine. Does that kind of make sense? So I'll repeat it again. Acetylcholine has 4 functions. The liver, your movements, the ability to move is acetylcholine, memory, and concentration. Concentration is going to be off the list first. That always goes first. And then memory goes, and then your body function goes, and then your liver goes. So if you only have enough acetylcholine to do 1 or 2 of those things, guess what? You're not making memories now. So you've got to have enough acetylcholine. There are supplements you can take that have choline in them, and that's what this is made from, choline. So we'll just go back now to this. I don't use supplements, but I know that they're available. You can go pretty easily. I think choline's pretty normal. I think you could even find it like at Safeway or Albertsons. Yeah, Sherry? Take it every day. There you go. Choline, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes they'll get a little tricky with you and they'll say omega-3 fatty acids, which is choline. That's why we have those, to get the choline out of them. So we've got sleep before the test. That'll help us with anxiety and memory and concentration. And we want to make sure that our body's not hungry. We want to make sure that not only do we eat a nutritious light meal before the exam, but that a few days before the exam, we're thinking about our nutrition too. Energy is what nutrition gives us. You got to get the right energy to get good on the test. I love this one. Don't review too much right before the test. Right before the test, you should know it all anyway. You're not getting anything in there that isn't already there. So, hang out before the test. Enjoy yourself. One might even say, during the test, relax. Just relax. Take a moment, breathe in, breathe out. Kind of taught the people that were here at 12 o'clock, I taught them a tense and relax exercise where you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth. And you can kind of start it with your feet and you tense up your feet really tight and hold that for 3 seconds. And then you release them. And then you do it again. And then you move to your calves, your thighs, your gluteus maximus, your arms, your legs. And whether your body likes it or not, if you forcibly tense it and forcibly relax it, it will relax. You can manipulate your body to relax. Some people forget that, but we can. Have a plan. I love this one. Go over the test and decide which questions will be answered first. Let's pretend this is a test. This is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to start marking on it until you've read it. So don't even put your name on it. It's not your test yet because you don't know it. Look at it. Look at page 1. Get familiar with some of those questions. Don't answer anything. Just look at it. Get comfortable with it. Move on to page 2. Oh, page 2 has true or false questions. Okay, I'm usually pretty good at those. Page 3, ooh, essay. I'm going to have to do that later. Ooh, matching. I like matching. I think I might start here first, but let me see what else is happening. You see what I'm doing? I'm giving myself permission to take the test in any order I want. You can start on the last page. You can start on the 3rd page. You don't have to start on the 1st page. You can flip the test over and start from page 5 and work your way to page 1. It's your test now, okay? It's yours. It's in your hands. It's yours. You can do whatever you want to it. Well, within reason, right? But the idea is just have a plan. Just have a plan. I know that I don't have to start on page 1. In fact, I could start on page 4 because I like page 4. Page 4 looks good to me. Control is one of the largest ways to lower test anxiety. Control, or even the perception of control, is one of the best ways to make ourselves feel confident. So if you can get some essence, some piece of control over this test, you're doing a lot better than people who feel out of control. I love this one. Don't think about the fear. This is my favorite because when I tell you, don't think of pink elephants, what do? You think of pink elephants. I almost want to take this out. But really, what Josh is trying to convey with this one, don't think about it. If you think about the fear, what are you not thinking about? The test, right? Thank you. You're not thinking about the test. Now you're focused on your fear, which is not going to help you on the test. I like this one because I do this all the time. Positive reinforcement. You have studied. You've gone to class. You've taken good notes. You've read the book like you're supposed to. You've looked over those notes. You've looked over the study guide for the test. Dang it, you've done a lot of work here. And you need to reward yourself for that. And you need to acknowledge that you need to be very kind to yourself. If you're mean to yourself, oh, you're so stupid, you can't get this. Guess what? You're right. You tell yourself you can't do this, and you can't. So do the opposite. I can do this. I've prepped for this. I'm ready for this. I'm smart enough to do this. I've got what it takes. I prepared. And last but not least, guess what? You're going to have anxiety. No matter what you do, there's going to be some bit of anxiety there. There's going to be some excitement. There's going to be something. Expect it. If you expect it and you know it's coming and you accept it, it doesn't hurt you anymore. It just is there. Just accept it. Like, how many of you argue against the sun? Right? It's just there. So you don't have to worry about it because it's there. It's the same idea with anxiety. Don't worry about it. It'll be there. It might even help you. And I love this one. You all need this. You all need this permission. The second you turn that exam in, you're done. No more fear, no more nervousness. You're done with it now. You can't stress about what's already been done. It's done. How many of you, after you take a test, walk out of the classroom and freak out because you know you got a question wrong? Right? Or you go and you check in your notes and you're like, I cannot believe I did that. Right? It happens. It happens a lot. But I'm trying to let you know it can still happen, but just don't let it take over you, okay? Don't let it take you over. It's over now. So here we go. I think we'll have time to get through before the test, during the test, and after the test. And then, of course, please, it does go on. It gives you specific ways to answer specific questions. So, excuse me. We'll talk, let's see, I didn't number this, but on page 3 it starts with multiple choice. So we won't make it there. But please note that this is meant to be an introduction to test taking. It's not meant to be everything about it. I only had just a half hour, and this might scare you, but I probably could have talked about this all day. So you can see here there's 6 different ways, different types of questions. Multiple choice, true or false, matching, short answer, fill in the blank, and essays. And then, of course, it gives you some really good tips on how to manage all of those. I don't think I'll have time to share those with you, but they're here for you. So when you leave here, please just don't throw this packet in a file because there's so much more in here that could help you. So here we go, before the test. Now, here we go. It's the day of the test. That's what this is starting off. It's the day of the test. You have got off the bus or you've got out of your car and you're walking to your classroom and you're sitting down. You're physically in the room right before your test. Make sure you know how much time you have. Some teachers will grab that test out of your hands at the end of the period and you're done. And that's it. Other teachers might let you have more time. Who is the person you need to ask about this? Your teacher. Hopefully, before you take the test, you've at least talked to your teacher once. Here's a good question. What is on the test is not a good question. Okay? Here's a good question. Teachers hear this all the time. What's on the test? Oh, I don't know. Probably the stuff we've been reviewing in class. Right? That's our first initial reaction. So the better question is, what can I expect on the test? Specifically, what kinds of questions are there? Not what are the questions. I know you won't give me those. But what kinds of questions are they? Are they multiple choice? Is there essay? Is there matching? Because this gives you access to go through here and then figure out how to strategize. Have you ever taken a test that's all essay? I know Kiki has. Have you ever taken a test that's all multiple choice? Yeah. So if there's only one type of question, you know you have to hone in your skills on that type of question. I'm going to say something that's a little shocking. So I'll just hold on to the chair here. Sometimes people get A's on tests and they know absolutely nothing about the class. Have you ever heard of these people? They didn't study. They barely came to class. How is it that they can get an A? This boggles the imagination. That's why I held on to the chair, because it's a little shocking. Because they're good test takers. That's why. Now, please don't leave this saying, well, my instructor for the workshop said I don't need to study and I can still get an A. Please don't leave with that concept. The concept is this. There's two parts to taking a test. There's knowing what's on the test and being prepared for it, and there's being a good test taker in general. And that's the piece I'm trying to get to today, is that regardless of what class you're taking, regardless of what test you're taking, there is a way to take a test that will work for math class, that will work for philosophy class, that will work for psychology class, and that's why this workshop's so important. I'm not gonna be there when you take your tests, but this information on how to take the test will be with you if you study it. So read all the items on the test. Read the questions and look for any that cannot be answered immediately. If you know the answer right away, answer it and go on. If you don't know the answer right away, you don't have to answer it. You can just move on anyway and go back to it. C comes back to what's going to be first. Anything you want is going to be first. If you're really one of those people, and I used this last time, there's some people that when they're eating food, and I don't know, maybe we can get a show of hands in here. How many of you eat your food and eat the stuff you like the least first? Get it out of the way, right? So we got one of those. So you might take your tests and do the stuff that you don't like first, because that's a pattern your brain and body understand, right? How many of you like to eat the good stuff and then sit there and wonder how to get rid of the other stuff, right? That might be the type of test taker you are. Maybe that's the type of test you need to take. Start with the stuff you know you like, get confidence from it, and then move on to the other stuff. So, of course, during the test, now we actually have that test. Please understand you can skip any old question you want. Bring a highlighter to the test. Or get in your head a shape that you like. Maybe you're going to put a star next to questions you've skipped. And you know that when you go back through and look at your test before you turn it in, you'll see those stars and you know there's something I haven't answered. So when you skip, don't just skip and never come back. You got to come back. Okay, so before you turn the test in, now that you've got to know it, you've answered it, you've done your thing, you put your name on it, before you turn it in, review it all. When you're done writing your last answer, you're not done with your test. Make sure no careless mistakes have been made. Look for questions that might have been skipped and answer those. And above all things, make sure that you don't change answers because you've lost some confidence in them. If you've read the answer clearly and you know you've answered after looking at all the options and you read that, if you read the question well, don't change your answer when you're done. Your first answer was probably right, but notice what I said. You had to have read the question right. So that's all the time we have for today, but I just want to show you multiple choices on here, some really great stuff for true or false, and then of course matching, short answer, fill in the blank, and essays. And like I said, I probably could hold you captive for 2 more hours and really, really drain your energy, but I think this is a good introduction. So hopefully this is changing the way you think about testing, making it a bit less anxiety-provoking and a bit more of an opportunity for you to achieve and show what you know. Sound good? All right, I think we're good. Thank you.